open or closed. Okay, does everybody know that? And the other thing is, and I was talking today, and they were a bit shocked by this, and they thought, oh, I don't really want that. If you're a connection of mine, and you haven't got it closed, so say, for example, that you connected with somebody, okay? It will come up in my newsfeed that you've connected with someone else. Now, the beauty of that is, if it's open like that, is that I might say, oh my God, I've been trying to get in front of that person forever, but I don't know anyone who's known, and I've just seen that my connection has connected with them. So it'll come up in my newsfeed. Now you can close it off. Now I know a couple of companies that have closed it off. They don't want, when they connect with somebody, they don't want that hitting everybody else's, their connections newsfeed. So you can switch it off. I'm not a fan of switching it off, to be quite honest with you. But I've spoken to companies and they feel maybe the competitors, it might be, the competitors might see who they're connecting with and they don't want that to happen. It depends, I mean, people do feel sometimes that it's best to switch it off. I personally think leave it off. But if you want to do it, what you need to do is go into your settings, which will come up, it'll come up here if you hover over here. And then down here, you're going to come in, you can't really see this, I'm afraid. But on your profile, it actually says, you can select, you can see your connections, and that's it. And you can switch it on or off, so it will be just only me or my connections. But to be honest, I'd leave it open. That would be my suggestion to you, is to leave it open, unless you've got a very, really good reason for switching it off. Okay? Now, the other thing you can do with your connections is, and this is kind of a nice little tip for you, is you can tag and you can, if you like, filter. You can filter your connections. So, for example, LinkedIn will do some of this for you already. But say, for example, you're chasing up new leads and you make a new connection. What you can do is, if you go into your connections, over here, you could, in Manage, you could create, like an inbox, like you would in your email. You could create a filter which would be potential leads. So you could create that and just literally put it there. And then, so you've just connected with Joe Blogs, and what you do is you tag them as potential leads. Now, the beauty behind that is that you're doing that, you've got a lot of connections. Say, for example, you had a new product come out and you want to tell these new leads about it. What happens is you go to your group that you have over here, so whatever that might be, and when you click on it, I've actually got colleagues here. LinkedIn very nicely comes up with this over here. So anybody in the group, it will pre-populate with their email addresses. And then you just actually go ahead and you create your email. It's a very nice little tip if you don't know about it already. So first of all, what you should be doing is tagging your connections, keeping them all nicely filtered, so that when you want to send out a quick blast email to them, this is the best way of doing it. It's fast and it's very efficient. Yeah? Anybody using this already? No? You are using it, okay, grand. Yeah. You find it's good, yeah? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, LinkedIn etiquette. Now, I love this etiquette stuff, and I'll tell you why. And I probably always put something about etiquette into any course that I'm doing, and I do it for the simple fact that social media is still quite new to us if you think about it. I mean, as I said, LinkedIn is what, I know it's 10 years around, but most of us probably haven't been aware of it really. But even with the Facebooks and Twitter and so on, I kind of feel that a lot of the times that we forget the normal etiquettes that we use in our offline relationships. So what I mean by that is, if you think about it, how often, or how, I'm sure most of you have been to some sort of some sort of networking events, be it BNI or whatever it might be, sort of industry events. How many times, or how many times would you, or have you done, where you walked into a room with a bunch of business cards tucked into your pocket, or you've got them in your bag or whatever, you've walked over to a group of people and you've handed them your card and you've walked off again. How likely are you going to do that? It's not going to happen. What we generally do is we walk over and we do the whole thing on, the weather is great, isn't it? And we say, how did you hear about this event, or how are you doing? And we do all of this kind of, the usual kind of interactions first. And then we might then get into a little bit of business. What do you do? I do this. And then we might see there's a mutuality there of some description, and we decide, okay, to exchange business cards then. And we say, look, I'll follow that up. I'll give you a call, or whatever the case might be, or an email. That's how we do it in the offline world. Yet, on LinkedIn, what happens a lot of the time is we see coming up on the right-hand side a name, and we see, oh, okay, well, there's Carole Smith, right. Well, I met her the other night or whatever, so what I'll do is I'll do connect. So I hit the connect button, and up pops the nice, well, not really very nice, but the template as such. That's LinkedIn. I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. And there we go. And we hit the button. Okay? Now, let's think about it for a moment. First of all, it's lazy. It's extremely lazy. What I would be saying to you is, at the very least, what you would do is you would say, hi, how are you doing? I met you at the LinkedIn event. I managed to chat for a few minutes, but I'd love to follow up. It'd be nice to connect with you, personalise it. And you're limited, obviously, on characters in this particular message. But what I would say to you is that if you're connecting with somebody, particularly with somebody that you actually haven't met, and you're seeing them coming up, is that you tell them why you want to connect with them. So it's just a little bit bringing our offline kind of etiquette into our online world.